Greetings to all, and thanks for tuning in to another video about the Nindies we love. I'm Jeff, and today we're taking a look at 5 of Nindy Nation's picks for games that may have slipped under your radar in the first half of 2021. Polish studio Mass Creation takes their love for the classic beat-em-up genre and throws a ton of new ideas at it with their self-proclaimed Brawler 2.0, Shing. The biggest difference here is that all 4 of the unique weapon-based characters leverage an innovative control system which allows you to attack different parts of enemies to exploit weaknesses, get around their defenses, and launch into epic combos. There's a block and parry system too, as well as a dash that you'll constantly be using, and none of it is an afterthought as every enemy encounter is challenging and exciting. This is not a mindless button masher. Outside of the combat, there's a fun, compelling narrative with great voice acting that tells a lighthearted story about 4 wisecracking warriors. In between and throughout levels, there's optional bonus rooms and conversational pit stops to unlock new costumes and flesh out the story. Shing adds replay value with multiple difficulties, a bunch of unlockables and achievements, a grading system, and a stage select that lets you replay both the levels and optional rooms too. If you're a fan of beat-em-ups like Streets of Rage, Castle Crashers, and the like, and you haven't picked up Shing, you absolutely need to add this incredibly fun take on the genre to your Switch. Of this list, the game that I've spent the most time with so far in 2021 is Curse of the Dead Gods by Pastech Games. This is an isometric dungeon crawler that takes the best elements of roguelikes and Souls-likes and blends them together to create something that plays a lot like Hades, but with slower, more methodical pacing. There's 3 things that Curse of the Dead Gods does brilliantly that are worth pointing out. The curse mechanic, as the name implies, afflicts your character in ways that impact the damage you deal, the way you see and traverse the world, or how your character reacts to various traps and enemies. Curses come and go, but overall deliver just the right amount of tension to every run. The dodge and parry system isn't just important, it's a necessity. To that end, I don't typically like games with such a heavy emphasis on this, but I have found it fun and satisfying once you get the hang of it. Also, there's a light and dark mechanic to always keep mind of. Depending on your build and depending on the run, sometimes you want to light torches and stay within the light, but sometimes staying in the shadows can actually help you combat the evil within the dungeon. These 3 systems play beautifully into a game that tosses narrative out the window in favor of gameplay that is at the top of its class. It's a tough one for sure, and frankly, there's a lot about this game that, on paper, I shouldn't enjoy. But with a level of polish this high, Curse of the Dead Gods has an intoxicating gameplay loop. And with the recent addition of assist options, it provides a roguelike experience that is now among the must-plays for all fans of the genre. If Hades was your first foray into this type of game and you're looking for more, consider Curse of the Dead Gods next. The game that seemingly came out of nowhere and surprised me more than any other this year is a little narrative-based puzzle game called Chained, which is a work of passion by Studio Digital Caffeine. Chained is made up of 2 primary components. The first is the narrative, a story about a young security programmer who's lost his job due to his employer replacing him with an AI. He sets out to seek revenge, and that's where the second part, the gameplay, comes in. As you hack various computer systems, you take down the AI through a simple, constantly evolving puzzle where your primary goal is to make all of the numbers on screen line up in sequential order, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. As you do so and the story progresses, the AI will develop new tricks to stop you, and you go from lining up 3 or 4 numbers to lining up all 9 digits while the AI aggressively fights back. There's even an upgrade and currency system that builds alongside the story and makes sense in context, too. The gameplay is fun and relaxing without ever becoming too demanding, and the entire game has a very movie-like flow that takes about 2.5 to 3 hours to see through. The voice acting and dialogue is both well-written and well-acted, and the music that plays throughout fits the vibe perfectly. After you've rolled the credits, there's a bit more to complete in an unlimited mode that lets you play the puzzle for as long as you like, but for the most part, you should expect to be finished with this $5 game in a couple of sittings, maybe over the weekend. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Chained, and I think most of you will too. A game that I saw and immediately knew I'd like also has a demo available, so you can go check it out for yourself. Developed by Indonesian studio Toj Productions, Rising Hell is everything we love here at Nindy Nation. It's a side-scrolling action game with procedurally generated levels, roguelike mechanics, and RPG elements. And it is metal as hell. Pun definitely intended. Your goal is to ascend a tower and get out of hell alive. So while you are side-scrolling, you're doing so in a vertical fashion. In each room, you'll fight a few baddies, gather currency, maybe find a challenge room, and then at the top, get to choose from a couple of available paths, ensuring that every run is different than the last. What Rising Hell does to set itself apart is in the combat itself. Across 3 different characters, you'll use melee or ranged attacks, but the secret is in the jump attack, and it's really interesting. Basically, your jump will automatically latch onto enemies, which causes significant damage before you launch off of them. This creates truly satisfying momentum as you work your way up the hellacious tower, and it feels awesome when you complete an entire room without touching the ground. In between runs, you'll spend your currency on unlocking new characters, selecting from various relics or perks, and chipping away at a static progression of new unlockable items. The blend of random and fixed items gives Rising Hell a flow that delivers tangible, consistent progression that makes its bite-sized runs even harder to resist that just one more try temptation. With a simple yet fun gameplay loop that is constantly rewarding you without requiring a huge time investment, Rising Hell has quickly become a game that's always in my Switch's home row. And with a demo waiting for you on the eShop right now, it just might be your next Nindy trifecta fix. And last but most certainly not least for this video, my friends, is my frontrunner for 2021 Game of the Year. One of my favorite aspects of indie games is watching those of us who grew up enamored with the classics mature, become game developers, and create something that not only pays homage to the games of yesteryear, but finds a way to respectfully modernize them in a way that makes something truly special. That truly special thing is Astalon: Tears of the Earth by Labs, and there's a demo on the eShop you can download right now, so go ahead and queue it up while you're watching this video. Astalon is a lot of things that made the 8-bit generation so great, but if you aren't typically swooned by the 8-bit indies such as Shovel Knight, Cyber Shadow, Celeste, and the like, please do not let that deter you from this absolute gem. Astalon is structured as one massive, mostly open-ended world, a Metroid or Castlevania, if you will, with 3 playable characters who must defeat the evil within a tower to save their town from the poison that spews from within the tower itself. As you explore the huge map, you'll swap between characters, find secrets, and engage in real-time battle and platforming challenges that vary just about as much as possible. When you die, you'll be sent back to the start of the castle, but that's where Astalon really shines. See, the currency you collect will allow you to unlock a slew of stat upgrades, buffs, debuffs, or even items that will help you explore and find your way around the tower. And because of plentiful elevators and shortcuts, you never lose much progress. In fact, sometimes, dying is ideal so that you can upgrade and be closer to a warp point. The story in Astalon is also better than it has any right to be, but I'll let you explore that on your own and will warn you that the demo for this game barely touches on the narrative, so just know there's a lot to be uncovered. Astalon has a bunch of options, multiple visual filters, plays great with a D-pad or analog stick, and the soundtrack, oh, the soundtrack, is one of my favorites in years. There's a good deal more to do after you roll the credits, and in my 100% run, I clocked over 25 hours in total, though I know some people have beaten it in as few as 8 hours on their first attempt, which frankly blows my mind. The coolest part about Astalon is how incredibly well crafted the world is. Sit 3 people down and you'll watch them explore the world in entirely different directions, some gathering traversal skills in the first 2 hours that another might not find until they're nearing the end of the game. Some will find the northern tower is where they head first, while others will, well, go somewhere else. There is just so much to find, and every single aspect of Astalon is at the top of its class. There's really no higher praise I can heap on this game. It is easily my top contender for the game to beat in 2021. So go get it! In fact, go get any of these. Many of today's titles have demos on the eShop, so what are you waiting for? Let me know what piqued your interest down in the comments, and for more indie gaming goodness, join us on Tuesday for weekly episodes of Nindy Nation, where we check out every new indie game release and the best eShop deals of the week. We're also on Twitter, we've got a Discord, and we stream new Nindies every Thursday night. More information is down in the description, and if you found this video helpful, please give us a like and subscribe for more. With that, thanks so much for watching today. I'm Jeff. This has been Nindy Nation's picks for 5 games that you should not miss from the first half of 2021. And remember, no matter what type of game you're looking for, Nindy Nation will be right here to help you find just the thing to keep your Joy-Cons synced.